Hey guys, welcome to this week's riveting art video. Today I'm going to be walking you through a sketchbook spread that I made. For some, a sketchbook spread can come on more organically over a week or so, but I find that when I make a spread, it's more of an intentional choice. I like to really sit down and think to myself, I want this spread to be cohesive and work together. I love to be motivated by color, so usually I start there. For this spread, I was really inspired by this grouping of Spectrum Noir Illustrator markers. I really love this like dusty rainbow vibe that they were giving. Honestly, I've had these markers for a while, so they were way more dried out than I was expecting. Eventually, honestly, after a while, I kind of ditched them and focus mainly with my colored pencils. But yeah, you can see as I'm doing this rainbow, like, it's not looking too hot. These were my favorite markers. I've just had them like for a couple years now. I think I got them in like 2019 or something, so they're just feeling a little dry. But I use them a lot, so I'm thinking it might be worth it to get some new ones. As a warm-up, I made these faces in the blobs at the top. There's little colored circles. So I took a corresponding color pencil color and went through and did a bunch of faces. And you can really tell that I warmed up and they got significantly better as we move along the colors. And I particularly really liked how the purple one turned out, and you'll see those all here in just a second. So I wanted to redraw the purple face a little bit bigger on the spread somewhere, because I was like, you know what, that turned out well, I had fun, and the marker was so dry, it was so streaky, and it was like not working with me. I just kind of shrugged it off though. I went ahead and finished it out because, you know, I gotta commit, and it looks better to be partially good looking than all bad. So, you know, glass half full, right? So even though it was working against me, I shrugged it off, and I kind of told myself that while I want these spreads to be pretty, I also don't want to put like crazy pressure on myself. Anything in my sketchbook is intended to be practiced and for fun. So even though I'm intending for this to be a pretty spread, that doesn't mean it needs to be perfect, you know. After doing that drawing, I moved on to making a green portrait of another face. By the way, all these faces I just found on like Pinterest, on that like face Pinterest board that everyone uses. If you know, you know. And the green portrait turned out much better, and I was super happy with the shade of green that I used. I recently bought that pencil from an art store, this like really pretty lime green, and I was really excited to use it somewhere in the spread. And then after a small snack break, I decided to draw something a little more on the cartoon side of things. I love drawing cartoons. The first thing that I thought of when I thought rainbow and cartoon was the Animal Crossing villager Pietro. He's this little like rainbow ram or like goat or something. I'm pretty sure it's a ram. And I've drawn a lot of Animal Crossing people. I actually have a video on that if you're interested. But I've just like rarely ever drawn the actual animal villagers, so it was kind of fun, and you know, I had a great time. Basically everything after I drew Pietro, everything after that I was just kind of vibing, you know. I was filling in all those little leftover spaces in between the drawings with doodles, and honestly this is my favorite part of doing any sketchbook spread, because there's no pressure and I get to just unleash my like inner little kid. My biggest takeaway from doing the sketchbook spreads like these is that it's all about practicing art in a way that is stimulating for you. Sometimes I do kind of just like fill up a page with like practice sketch, gesture drawings, stuff like that, and they're not like pretty and it's not a big deal. But also sometimes I get kind of bored doing it that way, and I will end up like stopping after a while, and so I find the best way to like kind of push forward and push through that is to then add kind of a fun color story or kind of make it more dynamic, and it tickles that part of my brain that is like, ooh, fun colors. And it helps me get around to doing some of these like portrait practice and stuff. I'm really curious to hear from you guys if there's any little things you do in your sketchbooks, because I'm always like looking for new things to do in my sketchbook to keep it fun and fresh, keep me motivated. Also, I am curious if you guys have any like kind of like prompts that you think I could use in my next sketchbook spread. It could be like a theme. For example, in the past I did like a witch theme, so everything was kind of like witchy and purple. It could be a color palette. Like, I am like so open. Leave a comment, let me know what you think, because I'm very curious and I love reading comments. And then also I really want to like put out a PSA, like, don't worry if your sketchbook doesn't look like mine. Like, I know plenty of professional artists. Like, I personally know plenty of professional artists who never have a page in their sketchbooks that look anywhere near like this, and their artwork is still just as amazing, and they're still just as talented, and they're still artists nonetheless. This is just something I like to do for fun. Lastly, I would love it if you guys would check out my shop on my website. Any support means a lot to me, even if it's just like popping in and looking at the stuff, you know, or, you know, sending it to a friend that you think might like it, sharing it on Instagram. Literally anything. Like, you do not need to spend money to support me. There's so many ways to do that, and so I just appreciate your time watching my videos, checking out my shop. It means the world to me. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next riveting art video.